Hey everybody. I received an email from a student who asked me to go in a little more detail about this pandemic assignment. I figured if one person asks, there's other people who could benefit from this. So we are in this time period of history, medieval times, and during this time, 1347, a bubonic plague hit Europe and it really changed everything. But going beyond just the bubonic plague, we're going to look at pandemic as a bigger theme here. And there's four parts to this. Now, the first part is very straightforward. I want you to define a historical turning point. How are diseases examples of historical turning points? Historical turning points are major events where the story completely changes because of what happened. These aren't small events, these are big, major events. And that's a historical turning point. And there are six pandemics we're going to be looking at: smallpox, the bubonic plague or the Black Death, malaria, cholera, Spanish flu, and COVID-19. Okay, now taking these six, I want you to tell me the time frames, meaning when did they hit? Now, some of these had multiple outbreaks. So what were the time frames? When did it happen? What were the causes of these pandemics? So for instance, the bubonic plague was a flea that got on a rat, and then the flea would jump on a person and bite the person, and the bacteria would get in the person's system. So more of a science class kind of vibe. But what were the causes of the pandemics? What were the symptoms? So once you got the sickness, what were the symptoms of this? So for instance, with COVID-19, oftentimes it's a fever, you lose your sense of smell, breathing issues, that kind of thing. Casualty rates, fancy term for how many people died. That's all that is. And probably 2E is the most challenging. How did they change the course of history? I would suggest in a search engine, say the effect of cholera on the world, the effect of smallpox, because when you type in changing the course of history, your search is not going to bear fruit like the word effect does. Now, suggestion, you don't have to. Anytime as a student I had to compile a lot of information or data, graphic organizer is a really good way to do that. So for instance, if I was doing the assignment, in the y-axis I would put the diseases or the pandemics, and then in the x-axis I would put the 5 things you're looking for. So that's the second part. The third part, what are some commonalities they all share? So what are some common things all 6 of these pandemics have in common? And I think that's fairly doable if you look at them. Once you research all 6, you're going to see they share some things in common. And then the fourth part is an opinion paper that's 2 paragraphs minimum, stating your assertion to which disease was most influential on changing the course of human history, with 3 pieces of evidence minimum. I really want to emphasize that, with that evidence. Just making a claim isn't any good unless you back it up with evidence. So for instance, I feel smallpox was the biggest game-changing disease in history. Saying that is not enough. I'd have to provide evidence, and I would talk about what it did to the indigenous people of the Americas and how it changed the economy of the world when European people arrived in the Americas, and the fact it was going on for so long and it was so devastating when it hit. You might not agree with that because, let's face it, it's gone. It's been gone since 1979. So those are the 4 parts. And the second thing I'd like to show you is the PowerPoint that I gave you in class. Feel free to use that. Okay, I mean, if you look at it, we have, here's what a historical turning point is. You can see the causes, and you can see here, there's the commonality, like all world diseases is caused by interactions with other people, and so on and so forth. And you can see some statistics, how devastating smallpox was, so on and so forth. So again, I want you to research 6 pandemics, and I hope that it illuminates the point that nature does always win. And if you look at the story of history, natural forces like diseases, severe weather, natural disasters have always and always will alter the course of human history. So I hope this explained it a little better. So good luck with all of your assignments, including this one, and hope you're all well. And I see you in the classroom soon. So have a good day.